I added and I forgot what the word for it is. Sheath. I added the sheath for the sword on the back. The sword, why is it stuck? The sword isn't glued in, and it can't actually go into the sheath. But I made sure that the sheath would technically fit the sword. So if it could go into the sheath, I could sheath it. But I can't. Front of it's just got just little satchels, maybe for, I don't know, parts. For pelt here, it's fully dried now. A little cloth thing here for just, I don't know, looks.
So that was out of green stuff?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Everything green is green stuff. The fur pelt was probably the hardest green stuff thing. This I just had to roll flat, and then I used my snips to snip this and kind of tear it a little.
Mm-hmm.
This I had to, like, make indentions and drag, and it was annoying. He's also got a shoulder pad, which, as you can see, is a much different color from everything else. That is from a Lego tube. Darn, I could actually grab that tube if I were able to get up. It's a little corrugated Lego tube, about this long, this wide, and I just cut it into a small enough piece and glued it on. So it's a nice shoulder pad. He's also got a backpack on the back. It's just a simple one. It's basically just a block of balsa wood.
Are you going to add more details later?
Yes. It's basically just a block of balsa wood with cloth medical tape glued on, so it can have that cloth texture when I paint it. It might be kind of hard to see.
Yeah, it's hard to see it, but later still.
In the limbs themselves, it might be kind of hard to see, but if you look on the inside of the legs, that might work. You can see the copper wire I used. I made copper wire shapes of all the limbs, and then I filed a notch into balsa wood pieces, and then because the only file I have would be too big for the wire itself, I used a drill bit to scratch out the right shape for it to slot into, so I could perfectly slot the wire into it and glue it on. And now that it's glued on, even though balsa wood is really soft, when it's glued on, when super glue gets on it, it hardens because the super glue dries like in every crack and crevice. That's what I did with the edge of the base, so it doesn't like get damaged. I don't know if you can hear this, but that's me poking it. I don't know if there's much more. There's also not much more left for me to do, and
I can't wait to see how you paint this.
like add more details and somehow make hands.
Yeah. Anybody have suggestions in the comments?
Yeah, like suggestions for what kind of hands I could use.
Yeah.
Either like something cheap that I could buy that has good little tiny hands, or something to make. And then feet, but feet would be a bit easier.
Yeah. So is it a robot or is it supposed to be a person?
Robot. It's gonna be, I'm hoping to make some kind of medieval universe thing, like, it's medieval, but robots and basic technology is still existent. So, like, robots and medieval people, I don't know the term for medieval people, but they live side by side. This robot is based off of concept art. I'm gonna put his sword back in his hands, or arms. It's based off of concept art, but eventually I might end up just making my own, but concept art is a really good driving force to get me to start stuff. But yeah, I'm planning to model this, well, I already did, but like the concept art I use for this guy and the paint job I'm planning to do is going to be based off of the German mercenary, forgive me if I get this wrong, Landsknecht. It's a type of German mercenary. And he's wielding his Zweihander, or two-handed sword. Yeah, So lynch necks, from like most images I've seen of them, are a bit more flamboyant, as are most mercenaries. So the colors of some of those things might be a bit more colorful. Like this, I'm thinking like a nice bright orange or yellow. Like not too bright, but a brighter orange. This probably just gonna be fur colored, like maybe white fur or something. Uh, yeah, that's about it. Have a good day, and